Hmm. Anastasia's mate. A knight and rook or queen team up to trap the opposing king in the side of the board and a friendly piece. Arabian. A knight and a rook team up to trap the opposite king on a corner of the board. I really want to commit this stuff to memory. Kind of worry that it's going to blur together. I guess we'll find out. Making sure everything's working. I don't really trust the system. It's a corner of the board. It's essentially this. We've got check, check. The check has to be taken by the rook. This check can't be blocked. King can't come here, so he has to go up. They're there. Check, king up. Ah, and then check this way, forcing the rook back up. Take. Queen can't do anything. Seems good. Alright. Haven't forgotten. Check by the rook. I feel like I've seen this pattern before. Alright. So we double check with the knight, which disconnects the rook from our king. So that's a check, but this is a check. So he can't just take with any of the three pieces in this case. So the king has to go across. So first move, check. And if we check with this, he has to take. Check, king there. Check, king takes. And then if I check with this rook, I can go here. So that can't be quite right, can it? Maybe it's this check. Double check. King still has to go over. No, that doesn't work because we're in check. Main problem. We definitely blocked something like this before. Maybe there's another knight move. Yeah, so check, king over. Check, king down. What could I possibly do at that point? The only way I can hit this square is like this or like this. I don't really see how either solves the problem here. How else can I block this check? If I go there. Still end up in the same position. Seems weird for sure. Seems like you really want the knight on this square. What happens if I don't check him first? Can't go here, I can't be here. Problem with going onto the back rank is that I'm blocking this second rook from coming across. And he may just still take with something that leaves me in check. If I block there, takes to sack, and he's still got the queen there. So we're going to lead to checkmate pretty quick. I don't think there's a in-between move. Double check he goes there. Don't have anything I can do to move the king again. King's there. Huh. I'm really not seeing this one. Arabian mate. Kind of bit the bullet and just made the move first. Sometimes it gets clearer after I actually play the move. My visualization isn't that great yet. So check there. Check. He only has this option if I do that. So he can't go back, and it's not mate. Hang on, am I an idiot? He can't take that, because the knight exists. That was actually the easiest puzzle. 2000 rated, and I just spaced on the fact that this would be guarded. I thought there was another sequence. I think my bias of expecting this move made me overlook this. It's a new one. So the king can't go here. We need our knight to be there. Check. King is forced there. Check. King can go left or right. If he goes left, rook over his mate. Hey son, welcome. So check, king over. Check. If king comes back, rook here is mate. Check, king over, check, king goes there, and then rook there is mate anyway. And he can't interpose with anything. Also got that, but I don't think I need it. Yep, English. Nice. Black to move. Hey, void. Check. King there. And then that's mate, right? Pawns cover here, knight covers there. Doing alright. 3 puzzles deep. Long way to go. So check. He can't even move, so he has to block. Check, block, and then rook there is mate. What? Am I crazy? Why is that not the move? I guess it's not the move because he could potentially go there. He doesn't have to block. To check, I'm expecting this, but instead of that, he can go there. Okay. So what if check takes check. Then he has to block, and then it's take. Yeah. I had some kind of... I had an inkling that there was something to do with that, and then I just seemingly overlooked it. So now we drop 30 points. We have to recover from that. That's going to take 30 puzzles to do. So check, queen has to take, check, king has to go over, then take with the rook. What is going on this morning? How is that wrong? I got a fucking 50 streak yesterday. It's because check, queen takes, check, king over, check, king can go to this square again. Oh, nice. I haven't played Warframe for a long time. I'm not really opposed to going back, but it's not really in the books right now. So if that move's not first, we have to prevent the square, right? Okay, so if I did this, and he takes, this is mate. So I can do that first. King's forced to go over. Yeah, that's more forcing. Check takes, check. His mate. I woke up half an hour ago, so first time streaming so early. Maybe my brain will fire up at some point. Check takes, mate. Now how am I wrong? Check. King can take. No, it can't, because that covers. So check, rook has to take. And then this is mate, and there's no way to stop it. Hey. Brain activate. Check takes, check. Is that really it? No, because this takes. So check. Rook takes, because pawn is pinned to the king. Check. Rook takes, check. Rook takes, check. And that's mate. Nice. Sneaky one. Yeah, I didn't think I'd do face cam for... Well, I thought I'd never do it, but... kind of did some test runs and found I preferred it. These days, typically I don't really like finding out what people look like after watching them for a long time without face cam. But I suspect people get used to it pretty quick. Check. Rook has to take because rook guards. So check. Rook takes. Check. Rook has to block. And then check. I still play Warzone? Not really. Kind of fallen out of interest with it ever since they did the Cold War weapon update. I feel like that really messed with... I don't want to say the flow, but it feels less smooth. I don't really like the way the mechanics of Cold War work. Having them dragged over into Modern Warfare pulled the game down, in my opinion. Check, king over, check. Call of Duty Warzone, it's a battle royale. Kind of like Apex Legends, but in the Call of Duty universe. Check, king over, check. Ah, no. I'm thinking Anastasia's mate. Does that actually work? So check, king there, check, he takes, check. It doesn't work because you can block with the bishop. So check here, pawn can't take because the pawn's pinned to the king. Check, king goes over. And that's just mate. I actually re-downloaded Warzone like a week or two ago after having not played it for maybe 3 months. I played probably 10 games and then I just couldn't really do it anymore. Which is a shame because I did invest a fair bit into it. Not money-wise, but time-wise. What other games? Nothing really. Sort of started playing chess maybe 4 months ago. And then that's really all I've played since. I think I've seen this pattern before. So check. Rook has to take because this rook guards the square. So check. Rook over. Check. And then if blocks, okay, check. There. Check. So I need to get the rook off the square for the knight. So he's got two options. If he goes up, this is mate. If he blocks, then what? Too many lines on the screen, I can't visualize. Bishop, rook, rook up, blocks. It seems weird because if I just take, the king is forced there, and then rook up and rook up again is mate. There's no reason to take that first, is there? Check, blocks, check, king up. And then I can just take the rook. Ah. I think I end up... No, that doesn't work either. Okay, what if check, he takes... No, that doesn't work either, because the knight's not there yet. I guess it has to be that. Kind of weird because there's a middle move. Doesn't block. Why did I think he would block here? I think I said this rook could go across, but obviously it can't. Right. So now check, king comes back down, rook check, king goes back up, and then knight check. $2,600, that one. That may be the highest rated puzzle I've seen. So I reckon I had seen that, like that exact pattern before, but they added a layer to it. Got 3 checks here. If check, doesn't really work because either of these pieces could take when I come across. Check. Ah. If check and he takes, this is mate. So he won't take. So check, king over. Check, he takes, and then Arabian. So you just have to see the in-between move there. Check takes. Check. Does he have to take? He does. King can't move. Yeah. Maybe one. Just gotta change the song. That doesn't work here. Oh, it does. Check. Has to take. And then this rook check is mate. 1800. So can I use a queen to do this? So check. I guess he can block with either piece here. Hang on. Check. Say rook goes up. Check. He takes. Check. There is mate. No, so it's a knight and a rook team up to trap the opposing king. Alright. Instead, check. Blocks. Queen sack. He takes with the other piece, and then the rook comes over here. So it is specific to using the rook and the knight. You can't have the queen. Whereas with the Anastasia mate, you can use the queen or the rook. Kind of interesting that there's a distinction. I don't really know why there would be. Any counterplay? I don't think so. So we're white. This check. That forces him to there. Just mate in two, is it? Check. King has to go up and then mate. Alright. Check, takes, mate. King can't move. Don't have any other option. Same thing. Across. So check, rook takes, check, because the pawn no longer defends. Doesn't quite work. This knight covers that square. So why wouldn't he take here? These are the only two checks on the board, right? So I have to start with one. He is threatening mate here. As long as the queen is alive, it's blocked. So check, he does have to take with the rook. Ah. But then this check, he has to move because these two squares are blocked. Can't go there because of the knight, and then this rook can take that because it's not defended anymore. There it is. Check, takes, check, blocks, check. There's no other option. Nice. What's the problem here? He can escape that way. Here's a mate in one threat. So everything has to be check. Which means I can't just block his escape. This check he can't take because the rook guards. He takes with the bishop. So check. Takes. Doesn't solve my problem. This check, he can go there. Check, he can go there. Check. Pushes him back to here. And then this is mate. It's mate in 3. I think. Yeah. So neither of those pieces can be taken. Check, king there. Check. King there. Check. No, that forces him up here. So then we sack. Can we sack? No, we can't. We can sack there. Rook takes, and then this rook is mate. But it's not because of the bishop. The bishop will take when I move the queen up. Check there. Check. There. Check. No. Check there, push him back. And then check, bishop takes, and rook comes up. Okay, so we got Arabian, should he go left? And if he goes there, well, he can't go there because the bishop's there. So I think this in-between move is important. Well, I think it would be mate anyway, right? But it wouldn't be Arabian mate. So if check, he takes, and check. Everything's guarded. Oh no, he can go there. Yeah. So force him into the corner, sack the queen, and rook comes up. This knight is pretty far away. Song can go. So he doesn't have any real threat. Hang on, I'm black. Wow, I'm in a way better position than I thought I was. So this threatens mate in 1. It's only a threat. So this check has to be taken. He can't take the knight because there's rook x-rays. So check. Can take with either piece, which is not great. Goes there. Kind of ruins the whole thing. So going there threatens mate in 1. If I did that, not sure what he would do in response. Kind of weird that there's no more forcing route. So if king did go there, what do I have? This check. King can still come this way. I don't have a follow-up because the bishop and the queen cover these squares. I'm always uncomfortable doing non-forcing moves in a puzzle. It's rarely the right option. Should I do that? What would he do? I don't know if he can prevent it, though. His main 2 options, I guess, is to, well, 3 options. Can't do queen there, because knight would take. Can't do bishop there, because knight could take. Well, bishop there wouldn't stop anything, so the bishop can't stop it. So I guess queen there and there, which both are covered by the knight. I think I'm just going to have to do it and see what happens. I don't see anything better. Okay, so queen comes up to cover that square. Bishop covers this, but we have two attackers here. So fine. Okay. King is forced in and mate. Baby one. Huh? Ah. For some reason I thought this was a bishop. We had a battery, but we don't. So check, king has to take, check, king has to go back, and then rook up. Can't be stopped. Don't want to do that because this is coming. That's not a check. Much more forcing. Black to move. Check, pawn takes, check, king up, and then rook up. He takes the queen. We have a fork that hits the rook, the queen, and the king. I think it's just made in two, right? Check and check. After king up. So we're halfway through. It's taken half an hour, which is interesting. Need to push the king a fair bit. So we hit him with a rook check first. And he can just take that. No, he can't because the bishop. Trying to work out why he did that move. Bishop guards. Check. Can't be here. Can't take because the pawn defends, so he has to go up. This check. Can't go here. Can't go there, and he can't be there, so he's forced up again. And then just rook to the corner. I think you just have to see the in-between move with the rook there. Queen over. We've seen this one today. Check, he can't take because mate. So check, king over, check, queen sack. It's another in-between move. So I've seen that exact puzzle and it still gave me +1 rating. I don't know if they have the same puzzle multiple times, or if you just do get rating for repeating. It's kind of under the impression that you wouldn't, but... This is a double check. Crazy of him to allow that. It's a double check. King can't come forward, can't block. King is forced to there, and then rook can't be stopped. Kind of looking forward to doing random puzzles again. But gotta grind these out. So black to move. We have a discover check with the king. That's a check. That's a check. I think it's kind of weird to open a mating sequence with the king. I feel like I need to move the king towards him. So we can't go there at the moment. If I do this, Go there or there. If I go there and he goes there, this check forces him back to that square. But then I don't have a way to force him up here. This will just repeat moves. If this, he can go there or there. And then after that check, he can just go here. So that doesn't work. If that check, he still has, well, there's 3 options if I do that. Or if I do that, well, 3. But he'll obviously go towards the knight. And I don't have a follow-up. I need to force him into this square here. The move I do has to be check or with the knight because he just takes on the next move. So check if king there. Like moving there would be nice, but he obviously just takes with check, so that doesn't work. Because then he could mate him on the H file. Goes back. How do we force him back there? Yeah. Let's just start with the knight and rule it out. If this knight move, can't be here, he can't be here, he can't be here. If he goes there, I have no way of forcing him back and preventing him from taking that. Rook over guards the knight, but then what? There's nothing after that. This check, same problem. Can't be there or there. You can come forward and escape. So I don't think it's a knight move, straight up. It can't be a rook move because we lose the knight. So it has to be a king move. And the king only has... Well, I mean, I guess I could go here, but I don't see the benefit. So really only these 2 options. Because we need to get off the G file. Get a delivered check to save... discover check to save the knight. So if here... King can't be anywhere here. Still has 3 options. This one is the worst. Wait, you can't do that at the moment because the knight covers. Right. That's why we're calculating that. He can go there or there. So if he goes there, this check forces him to there, and then this is mate. So if he goes there, check, he's forced up, and then the rook comes up. It's king there. Goes up, knight and rook. So I just had to see this in between move to kick the king out of that square. Deliver back rank down here. Someone can go to. The last puzzle is only 1700 rated. So king can't be there at the moment. This check, he has to go there. I don't know how that helps us. Does this check? Because it's guarded. So if that, king has to go there. That check, king has to go there, and then just rook all the way over. Yep. Queen is not really doing anything. So check, bishop has to take, which lets the knight come down to check. King can only go there because the bishop's in the way now, and then this rook can come over. Check, check, mate. Check, king takes, check. King can only go back, and then mate. Doesn't work because it can come forward at the moment. So I guess once this is out of the way, I do have a discover check with the bishop. But if the knight's there, it's blocked, so that doesn't help. If I move a rook, he can take the other one. Neither rook move is a check. What if check, king up, check, king has to take. But I can't do this because queen takes. So what if check, king up, check. No, because he just goes back there, doesn't he? Can't go there. Well, it's not check immediately anyway, so. Check, king up. Problem with going there with the knight is that I'm going to need 2 moves to get it back to do the Arabian. That adds quite a bit of complexity. So check, king there. Check, king has to take. Wait, king can't take because knight covers. But he can take this. So check, king up. Check, he takes. Can't take because of this rook. Don't do that. A lot of crappy songs today. Check, he comes forward. Check, he can't take. So that's just mate. Was I like crazy overcomplicating that? Doesn't come forward either. I don't know why I was projecting to make that much harder than it was. This is the problem. Ah. So I can't just do that because obviously this guy. So check, he takes, check. He has to block, and then we take. Ah. This check to move the pawn. Check, king has to go back, and then we spend 2 rooks on these guys. $15 more, apparently. I'm not sure if my math adds up with the sites, but check that a bit closer. White to move. I need to get there. Bounce around a bit. So if check, only options here. Check if he goes back, rook over his mate. Pretty sure I've seen this today. Check, king there. Check, if king back, rook mate. Check, king there, and rook over his mate anyway. Ah, right. Can't take because he's pinned. Check, king up. Check, to pull the bishop out now that he's no longer pinned, and then rook over. So you can't really take anything because then these pieces guard this square. So if check, rook has to take, which fills up this square, so when this check happens, king has to go up, and then rook can come up. Nice. Same idea. Check, rook down, check. Can't go there because bishop covers. So I guess I have this check. Push him over. So check, king over, check, check, king over, check. If king goes back, then I just move the rook away, and this discovered check is mate. Check, king over, check. That king goes further. And that's just mate. We'll just draw that again. Yeah. Check, king over, and mate. Queen's blocked by his own rook. It's defended. Defended by the bishop this time. Same thing. Nothing defending this pawn. This is queen sack, king takes, check. King has to go back, and then rook takes. Check, rook takes, check, king has to go back. And then check here, he blocks and we take. Don't see any counterplay to that. Can't come forward. Nice. Okay, my math says we've got 5 more. Let's go and see what his says. 6 more. 2 to replay. Let's go and do those. So, what did I do wrong here? I think I needed this, right? The check has to be taken with the rook to occupy this square. I think what I did last time was just this. Then king can escape. So check, rook takes, occupying the square. Check, he blocks, check, we take. Yeah. So I'm not sure if that counts and if I should write it down or not. I'll finish the other one and then see if it updated or not. What did I do wrong here? Check, if he takes, it's mate. Check, he goes over. Check, he takes, check, it's mate anyway. Maybe I did this first, thinking this. and this, but then he can escape. It's obviously queen first here. Okay. So that doesn't add to this, so we got to do 6 more. I'll have to remove that band completely. Alright, so 6 more. So I think maybe once I grind all of these, then I can just do checkmate overall and see how often these things come up. It's not going to be that often if you look at the 430,000 puzzles, 64,000 back rank, and then the rest are 2,000 or less, 4,000 there. I wonder how often these things actually show up. Check. Check takes, check. King has to move, and then rook up. So we don't write that one down. It's 5 we do. White to move. Check, blocks, check. So that's guarded. We go back. King can't go there. King can't go there because of the knight. Can't stay there. I mean, I guess we could go there too. We have to go there to disconnect the rook from this square. So discover check on the king. King is forced back, and then rook up is mate. But if we went here, rook could just take our rook. If we go there, he just takes. Blocks with the bishop, but that's irrelevant. Sneaky little trick there on their part. Black to move. Check takes mate. Just thinking he's got 2 pieces guarding this. He can take that, and he has to take back with the knight. He's not in check, so he doesn't have to take back. So check takes. Check takes. If he does it with the queen, then it doesn't work. But this isn't very forcing is the problem. So check if he takes with the bishop, mate. Check if he takes with the queen. What? I don't have a follow-up. This check just gets taken. He doesn't have any threats on me. I guess he can take that. No, he can't. Because if I do that, he takes that, check. That's mate. Because he can't go to there because the queen covers. So he can't take the knight. Can't threaten... We can't check me in any other way. Threaten the queen, I guess. Let's assume he takes. If he takes, we hit him with check, forcing the rook over, and then that's mate. And if he doesn't take, then it'll just be mate, so he has to. King can't take because knight covers. Check. One more. Then what's next? Oh. Back rank. Do I really need to do that? I feel like I'll probably skip back rank now because it's the most common, and we'll just do Bodum's mate. Odin's mate. It's only 500 puzzles for that one. Check. Rook has to take. Very helpful. Check. Rook or king can take there. Check. Takes. That doesn't work. If check and he takes. Yeah, he has to take with the rook, otherwise it's mate. I guess he can't take because that's guarding. Never mind. Check. Rook has to take. Take that then. Doesn't work. No. If I take that, he can take with the rook. Oh. Can't go there first because he's covering with 2. 3. So the bishop's no use. These are the only checks we've got, so let's rule them out completely, I guess. If that, he can take with either piece. If he takes with the rook, I don't really have a follow-up, because rook would cover the square. If I move that, rook could take that with check, and then just take that. Doesn't work. So I don't see how that's beneficial. We check here, and he takes like that, which he has to, because this covers the square. Check, takes. There's no point checking it again, because when this check happens, it's way too vulnerable. Yeah, if I do anything like that, which is not a check, he can take the back rook for free with check. Taking that pulls away 2 defenders from here, but not 3. That still wouldn't be a check anyway. If king's there, rook over is check. That doesn't really help, does it? Because he can go in either direction, and this still doesn't do anything. Okay, check. Takes with the rook. Check. Rook takes. Discovered check. He blocks, and it's mate. So check, he takes with the king. he gets mated in 1. So he has to take with the rook there. Check, rook takes. Check. He has to take with the rook because the knight guards. So rook across. This move is now discovered check. Can't go there because knight now covers. So he has to block with the rook. And this rook comes up. Bishop gets in the way, but that's irrelevant. That wasn't even 2000 rated. That one was rough. Alright, so that's 100 total puzzles for that one. Okay, kind of annoying that I didn't get higher. So we've done 100 Anastasia, we've done 100 Arabian. So now we do Bowden's Mate. Probably going to end stream, fire it up again, change the title just so I split the video where I want it. Gonna do that real quick. Back in like 1 minute.